What's up again, nerds and nerdettes and we little nerdlings all? Your buddy Big Johnny G from Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming is back again! And look! It's Ryan! Oh, what's up, Ryan?
Not much, how are you?
We just finished playing a game that, okay, spoilers here, kind of blew our minds a little bit.
A little bit. A lot, probably, actually.
Fallen Lands, a post-apocalyptic board game by Fallen Dominion Studios. John Longren and Sean Cahill. Alright, now this is going to take you about an hour a person to play. Now that's when you know everything you're doing.
Yeah.
Ages 14 and up, and it's good for 2 to 5 players. There is an expansion. We didn't do an unboxing or anything of it yet, but there's an expansion that lets you play solo or allows up to a 6th player.
Awesome.
And it also expands the card count by like 20%.
Yeah, because that was a problem we ran into, was running out of cards.
Yeah. The game has tons of cards to begin with. All right, so this is literally, you can't get much more of a first impression than this, because this game was just unboxed this morning.
Yeah.
For game day, for this game day specifically. So literally we had only just looked at the rules, we had only just really seen the components and everything, so we totally were coming into this 100% fresh. That first turn itself took about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, because that was the first. Well, when you open a game up brand new, it takes a second. You want to make sure everybody knows what's going on. You have to explain each component, each aspect of every turn, and the turn is broken down into 4 different phases, each with their own 3, 4, sometimes 5 sub phases. They give you this entire 1-sheet board
just for the first player.
Just for the first player. It's 2-sided, just to keep track of everything that's going on. And then each one of these things that's on this card, everyone has to do. And the first player is one that keeps track of it, because there's kind of a lot. There's a lot going on.
Yeah,
now,
there is.
With that being said, while there is a lot of stuff to do, it's not overly complex, which is fantastic.
No, it comes off that way.
It looks like once you get you look at the amount of stuff that's out here, the size of the board, the number of different kinds of cards, the number of dice, there's so much stuff. But once you get into the meat of the game, you really start to kind of pick up the pace. That first turn, while it did take us, almost 2 hours, or maybe even more than that,
maybe a little more. I wasn't keeping track, but I swear it felt like more than 2 hours.
But once the second we got into turn 2 and turn 3, a third of the time. We blew through turn 2 and turn 3 pretty quickly.
Yeah, we did.
And because we knew what we were doing, everyone started to kind of formulate, okay, I know what I'm going to do on my turn, so while someone else is taking their turn, I'm going to think out what I want to do. Hopefully, the rolls work out in my favor and kind of have a couple of backup plans. Because it's not like there's drastically a lot of things that you can do differently from turn to turn. Like, you're pretty much going for the same thing. Like, maybe if you get 2 extra spaces, you can kind of change your strategy. But overall, the goal of the game is the same: survive and get to the 80-point mark.
Yes, because each turn is broken down. When you get a chance to go on your turn, it's broken down into actions that you're able to do within 4 weeks.
Yes.
You have 4 weeks worth of time, and everything from traveling to hitting missions to doing PvP all takes a certain amount of weeks.
Yeah.
You can go over that, and then it's just paying in advance,
which is what I did a few different times. And actually, I felt like taking the penalty markers on recurring turns, I felt like I was getting enough done on the turns that I was overextending my team, and taking that delay later on. It didn't really hinder me all that much.
It didn't feel that way, but you're still playing catch up.
I'm still playing catch up to a point, but it sort of depends on what kind of progress you're making. So there is sort of a game of chance to that, because you don't know what cards you're going to get, you don't know what kind of rolls you're going to make. But if you do happen to get into yourself in a position where you do get lucky and are able to kind of have a good card effect happen to you and get a whole bunch of stuff, it works out.
If we went another turn, because I had seen that you were getting into a habit of buying a week in advance.
Yes.
So I got this card here that I was going to play literally the next turn if the game didn't end, right? And this card would be another 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Another 2-week penalty chip. I was so ready to mess you up with that.
Yeah, well, it's because what ended up happening to me is that I sort of got screwed on the first turn because I wasn't able to get the resource square. You can buy resource squares to help kind of promote your, in order to generate resources, generate money to kind of get other better stuff later on. I was trying to get stuff early, and it didn't work out in my favor. I ended up kind of in a bad position with my characters. I lost a couple on a bad mission. Actually, I lost my entire team on a bad mission.
Total party kill.
So on the second turn, I'm already playing catch up.
Yeah,
just
true.
because I had to reset my team.
All right, now let's tell everyone exactly what we're talking about here. So the game is a post-apocalyptic game. It's set up after a nuclear war, a biological war. Everyone going mad, just trying to keep themselves alive until a certain point where certain civilizations started popping up and became known as the Council of 10 Towns. And each player is playing a team. Actually, each player is the head of the town, and he's sending out a team of 5 people to go on a mission for that town. So you're trying to. It's basically a victory point game.
Yeah.
You're trying to score, but they have 2 different tracks to do this on. The regular, the short track, as we like to call it here, getting up to 20 points. This is popularity, basically. This is how popular you as running a town is becoming. When you get up to 20, you are so popular, no one can deny you, and you win. You pull everyone together. And the other way, which starts over here and wraps all the way around at the top to get to 80 points here to win. This is what's called the town health, and that measures everything from your technological advances to their population and things like that. And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get to these 20 or 80 point to win the game. And you're going out and you're doing missions, which are randomly determined during the game. It's set up and they're placed out. And then you blindly, when you get to them, you'll pick a mission card and you'll do it. But meanwhile, you got to stay alive.
Yeah, staying alive is the operative thing, and that's where you kind of run into having to do encounters, and also you need to make sure you have resources available for your team. You make sure you get items. You want to make sure you have things that put yourself in a position to achieve those missions. Because those mission cards were probably I didn't really look at either. We didn't really get to the city radiation, which was supposed to be.
No, we didn't touch
these.
These
are supposed to be the hardest ones. These are pretty difficult, and the mission cards were incredibly difficult.
Who was it that had the Cheyenne Mountain? Was that Rob or Steve?
That was Rob that got that. Yeah.
That wrecked him.
Yeah, that was pretty
Gatling
bad.
guns coming out of the ground, shooting up his whole team. It was he almost had a TPK himself.
Very lucky that he's.
They were very tough, and depending on where you stop, either in and you look at the map and it shows you either a regular kind of where there's nothing here. These are the plains. These are radiation cities. And mountains. Mm-hmm. So depending on that, you'll pick a card from plains, from the mountains, or from the city radiation. And it's very text heavy. This thing is so thick and heavy with it's dripping with theme.
And it doesn't drag the game down either, because there's other things that we've read that it's like, okay, there's a lot of flavor text, there's a lot of unnecessary things here. It actually, I feel like that the sort of the setting for each of these cards plays a lot into what you have to do, because it gives you an idea of what do I have to do. While it is just a short description of the scene, it sets the stage for what's going on in the overall story of things. And it gives you that thematic sense of I actually am in this post-apocalyptic wasteland.
Oh, completely.
And so it's sort of, I feel like that helped get us into the feel of the game, helped us drive everything forward, because we sort of get in that mindset of what that mindset of we're trying to survive, we're trying to get all this done. Like we're not just playing cards and rolling dice. Hey, I want to make sure that my guys get through this. Let's kind of like get into the thematics of the game. Like you could have become attached to the characters. I
mean, obviously. You can tell our very first impression is this. We are very highly impressed by it. Now, one thing I think we should really point out, because it's so odd. When you first look at it, it seems really odd what they're talking about, what they're trying to put in your head, and that's when you're doing combat.
Yeah, combat and the skill
I've never seen a system like this before.
No, I haven't either. At least not that I can recall. But and while it is an odd system, I actually kind of like it, because it sort of keeps you. It's almost more strategic to play it this way, because it's not so much that usually in other games you have to roll, and like the higher the roll, the better. Not necessarily. With this, you want to make sure that your rolls are actually a little bit are at or below the skill level that you have for your characters, and that there's automatic success things, and once you get above a certain rank, but you do want to set yourself up in a position where your characters aren't really leaving too many points behind as far as going over that 10 limit. Because once you do, then your rolls end up playing against you a little bit more. So you want to make sure that you kind of keep it, like just get almost up to that 10 rank, and so that way anything you roll from 1 to a 9, you're good.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's always
between
meat or-
7 and 8 is a really sweet
7 and
number
8
to
is
have
pretty good.
like that.
Yeah.
Now, what I really love on my first playthrough on it, I got to see how it feels moving forward, but is how the system of combat and skill use really, really feels like teamwork.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have to send like when you roll for your skills, it's not okay. Who's the best at this skill? I'm going to use them. It's everyone has to take part. So you could have one guy who's really good at fighting or really good with technology, but someone later on, like in the 3rd or 4th slot on your team, isn't so good. So while you do have one who's really good, you want to make sure that that person who doesn't have those high skills, you need to get stuff. You need to get items by doing the encounters and doing the missions.
Mm-hmm. And that's the exact way to
boost
talk
them
about
up.
it too. Slots.
Yeah.
Because each of the 10-sided dice are a different color.
And they all correspond to a different... Oh, and the black is.
And the black one's for vehicle.
And they all correspond to a different slot on the character sheet. So the red slot is always...
Well, the town map. Yeah.
On the town map, sorry, that's right. So the red slot's always the first person to go, orange slot's always second, and so on and so forth.
And you would have the character cards next to it, so this guy, when the dice are rolled, the red one is always his.
Always that same person.
Oh, it's always going to be, whoever's here is always going to be the orange, the green. This is purple, the die is blue. I really got to fix that. Yellow, and if you have vehicles, like I was lucky enough, I got this cool-ass helicopter.
Yeah, you have the helicopter.
So that's what the black die represents for that. And it does, because of that, it really pulls in this entire team feel, because everyone is working together.
Yeah.
It's not like, okay, this guy on my team rolls, he missed. This guy on my team rolls, he hits, she misses, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
This is all, okay, they are working together. There's no denying that, the way the system is set up.
Yeah.
And that is something that really impressed me, because, I mean, look at this. Look at all this. I got almost 200 board games in this darn collection, and I have never felt a system that really made it feel like ganging up on someone in a fight.
It really is the case, because you do get access to those 5 different characters for your town. And having that party dynamic, and having the variety of skills that are in the game,
Or even more, you had an ally. You had the dog.
I had Patton the dog for a while, so that gave me basically a 6th character. And I didn't know how to roll for him, but he did add bonuses.
Yeah, because he was attached to one of your other characters.
Attached to somebody
so
else, yeah.
he added all, just like everyone else. If you see, like on the bottom of the character card here, these are the abilities.
Yeah, he had his own stats. He had his own set.
For the skull is combat. The campfire is survival. The third one is 2 hands shaking. I don't know how well you can make that out. 2 hands, that's diplomacy.
Yep.
The wrench is engineering.
Mechanics are
Mechanical. The microscope is technology. The catechist.
I forget there's a name for it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's the medical symbol. It's like generic medical symbol.
And the last one is your carrying capacity. How many item points you can carry, because all the items have a certain weight to them. Mm-hmm. And so you can't exceed that. Otherwise, you're overloaded.
Yep.
And and when you get things, you're putting them on specific characters to help them specifically in their roles. Of course, that also means that if the character dies,
you lose all that stuff.
You're losing that stuff. I also had the semi truck, and that has a capacity of 16.
That's a lot.
But if I lose the truck, then anything that was in it is also going to be gone.
Exactly.
So you don't have to worry about that. This game has a lot.
There's a lot of punch outs.
Yeah, a lot of tokens, a lot of chits in this game. But unlike other games, it didn't feel overwhelming to me.
It didn't, because you're not really using a whole lot of them, and it's not weighing everything down. Because you have your currency system, you have your damage markers, but for the most part, it's just all about your faction tokens.
And speaking of the currency system. So you got to check this out. I thought this was, thematically speaking, again, this is just absolutely brilliant. So since it's the apocalypse, money isn't worth anything unless you really got to wipe your ass. That's the only thing a $100 bill is going to get you in this day and age. So what it's almost like a bartering system. Yeah. Bullets are worth 1. What was that? The canned goods are worth 3. 5 is what, the medical supplies.
Yeah.
And there's a 10. Wait, there's a 10 here too. And that's the most valuable thing. That's gasoline.
Gasoline, yeah.
I really, really like that. I mean, I have seen other games where they use money, and it's like, well, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, no, they made sure that this is not just tokens with values; they're represented by actual resources that you need in the game. It's very much like a lot of post-apocalyptic like video games or other board games.
Oh yeah,
too.
I mean this game.
Into it.
Me and Ryan's dad are buddies. We grew up together, and there was a game that your dad, me, Zeke, and Tim used to play all the time on the Commodore 64. That's how old this is. And that game was called Wasteland. And that was a magnificent game. And this has a feel like Wasteland.
Yeah.
It also, to me, it's take out the radiation mutants from Gamma World by TSR role-playing game. This has a very Gamma World feel to me. The whole finding of the technology stuff and everything. But you guys pointed out while we were playing, mechanically it felt a lot like Merchants and Marauders too. In a sense.
Yeah, it did. It felt like Merchants and Marauders kind of set in the post-apocalyptic United States, because there is a lot, like, while you are your own faction, achieving your own goals, trying to make sure that your own town is making its way in the world, you are kind of on the lookout for other players, but you can also work with other players to achieve goals. They even mentioned that they're teaming up to take care of event cards or working together to trade items. To kind of better your own town, and also collecting the resources and kind of going from place to place, getting the different missions and encountering the different areas.
And we can also say Fallout.
And the Fallout video game. That's what my first thought was Fallout, because it is post-apocalyptic, post-nuclear war United States with the different regions that are affected by this, with the genetic mutants and all that other stuff, and the different factions fighting for power.
And you could also say Mad Max. It definitely has a Mad Max feel to it also. Totally. Not overboard. I mean, maybe that could be another expansion someday in the future via vehicle expansion. Could make it a little bit more Mad Max-like, I guess. And also, it's a little bit of a stretch, but if you take away the magic, Thunder the Barbarian. Definitely had, because of the dystopia feel, to me, like I said, Thunder had magic and wizards with the high technology, but take out the magic, this had enough of a feel to, make me think of Thunder too.
Yeah, so I feel like if you enjoy any of those franchises, like this is, maybe it's not inspired by it, definitely you can draw a lot of comparisons. So if you do enjoy that sort of that gameplay or that realm of kind of post-apocalyptic genre, this would work out very, very well.
Oh, definitely.
For anyone who likes
I definitely also say that a casual board gamer, this game is not for.
No, the rules are simple, but there's so much going on. I mean, the rule book was 40 some odd pages. 42 pages of rules, which I'm not complaining about at all. It's just there happens to be a lot, and it's like everything is really well detailed.
The first player card helps with that.
First player card helps,
and we got the double-sided cheat card helps a lot too.
Yeah,
it makes it easy to follow, but
but
this game is so heavily story-driven. That's where the RPG feel comes in.
Yes.
Any board gamers that are RPGers are gonna love this. I gotta say, that's my first thought is if you're an RPG and a board gamer, you're gonna love this game.
Yeah, because it did, and even the level of interconnection. Like Steve had a character that referenced a faction that I had a card that referenced to later. He goes, "Oh my god, that guy is connected.
Oh yeah,
I have that connection." And even some cards will straight out reference one of the other player factions that are available. Like Rob was playing some Brotherhood, I think it's called the Brotherhood.
The Brotherhood, right?
And then, like Steve or you had a card that said, "Oh, the Brotherhood is coming to
That
attack."
was me.
And it wasn't a PvP situation.
And it said if I was the Brotherhood, you ignore the card and draw another one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they do add in a lot. Like the factions aren't just for the sake of factions, like some other games. It does matter.
And that reminded me of Dead of Winter.
Yeah.
The way the cards in Dead of Winter, the Crossroad cards, will be specific. If you have this person in the group, this is going to happen.
Yeah, so it matters who's out. It matters the theming. Everything that.
You look at this. I mean, all of that huge stack just for the plains. Another equally large stack just for the mountain encounters.
And there's not even that many mountain spaces.
And then your missions. I mean, this is an amazing amount of stuff.
Yeah.
I can't believe otherwise, but this has to have high replayability.
Absolutely, because you're never gonna look just playing with maximum 6 players with the expansion, with 5 players in the base game. playing with 5 characters, even drawing the amount of cards that we didn't even scratch the surface.
No, we didn't.
To get through all of this stuff, just for the story, figuring out what's going on.
And look at the characters. This is...
And there's a ton more characters.
And we eat, and there's a minimum of 5, 10, 15, 24. There's a minimum of 24 cards that are not in this deck because they're currently out from the game we just played.
And I burned through an entire team.
And, another thing, first impression, I want to compliment. Now, this is a 2 to 5 player game. 6 of you have the expansion, right? So, normally, most games, if it's a 2 to 5 player game, you're going to have 5 choices.
Yeah.
You can look at your character selection or car selection or whatever it is for the game you're playing. And if it's up to a 5 player game, there's going to be 5 cards to choose from. That could be this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, or this guy, and that's it. This game, 6 player with the expansion, 5 player normally, 10
options.
10 different options of different towns, different factions that you can play, and they all give you different stuff.
Yeah. It's not just factions for the sake of factions to have a color represent your characters. They do matter. You start out with different items. You start out in different locations. Mm-hmm. You have different starting perks.
Different abilities that will happen during different phases of the game. And again, that's just more replayability right there.
Yeah, because you want to know, I know that this faction plays well in this area. And
they went above and beyond. They didn't have to, but each city map, town map, Matt, has a unique background story. Who they are, what are they doing?
I didn't even get to mine because there was so much other stuff going on that it's like I'm so enraptured with other stuff that I'm like, oh.
I was playing the Coalition of the Black Angel, and they're preserving knowledge. So basically, I was playing nerds, and I think that's why I won.
I was playing the Enclave of Terra. Again, I didn't get to read through it, but just kind of thinking about some of the other things that was going on. It feels like they're trying to preserve.
And Steve's group was basically the mafia.
It was all the different crime organizations and syndicates that have existed before everything went down have come together with what's left and been like, let's all get together in one big
Rob
group.
was playing a fanatical religious cult.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly what he was playing.
Now, the mission cards, the encounter cards are kind of dark. And they are tough as nails.
Yeah, but there's also a bit of a comedic element as well, it's not as dire as something that in Dead of Winter where it's warns you ahead of time. That's like some of these can get I had one that I had to fight bikers off, and part of the card is you just straight up ran 7 of them off the road, but you still have 43 more to fight, so good luck. So it's just kind of throwing in these little tongue in cheek hey, good job. Good luck with the rest of this.
Or the Ravager game that jumped me. The Ravager
game that came, yeah.
They didn't realize how doped out my attack stats were with my alien laser gun and my experimental laser rifle on this guy. And by the end of it, it's you slaughter all of them, and then you rob from them. Awesome. Awesome card. I love the stories in this. So, to wrap up, overall, first impression, I can't think of anything bad.
No, I didn't either. I mean, again, with the difference of what the skill check system was going to be, I was a little nervous about how that was going to play out. I feel like it was going to be complicated and drag the game along. No, once we sort of the first turn we were like, oh, we have this, we got this down. This makes a lot of sense.
Like I said, the first turn for all 4 of us to go through may have taken almost 2 hours.
But the only reason,
we
were just reading through everything to know what was going on.
Mm-hmm. We had to physically go through it. We had to go through that process. And like I said, it was also really right out of the box. We hadn't even looked at the rule book yet. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that was bad at all.
No, I think it worked out. great.
I love the fact that not only are you building your characters, but you're also taking opportunities to build up your town and your town technologies.
Yep.
And I had the most actually with 4, but I never got to flip them to the gold side, which gives you a double version of the bonus. But I love the fact that your town itself is alive, and you're putting energy into it. You're putting effort into it. You're making it better. You're putting defenses into it. You're getting new technologies when you get the chance. It felt more alive.
And in doing so, you're moving this town health marker up. So it encourages you to build your town up as well as your characters. Mm-hmm. Because as you do that, you will progress further and further along to kind of help promote what's going on with your characters.
On all marks, the board looks a little plain, and it really kind of does. But it really doesn't matter because the action's not on the board.
It's not. It's really in the cards.
Yeah, it's in the cards. This is more theater of the mind than you would actually expect a board game to be.
And the descriptions are so vivid that
Yeah.
you can create such a fantastic mental picture that it really do feel like you're experiencing this like as a movie or as a TV show.
Lundgren and Cahill really knocked it out of the park.
Absolutely.
With the storytelling in this. The one thing is the character art is a little iffy to me. I mean, it's good art. I think it would look great. And I said this in the unboxing. If this was like an independent comic book story, this is exactly the way I could picture the art looking in that. And there's nothing wrong with it artistically. Me, I'm a little bit of an eye snob, I guess, and I like things a little bit more polished. But it's fine. I mean, I just said that's a nitpick. Because I don't know what else to say, and I don't want to come off like, we had nothing bad to say about the game. He's not giving us a decent review. No, I just really don't know what else to say, because I loved everything about it. The components are all in great shape.
Yep.
Everything has a linen finish. The cards, the board, everything. The box has a linen finish.
Yeah, it's just I couldn't think of anything. And like some critiques that I've had of past games is, the colors are too similar. Or and that's maybe would be the one thing that I would say is that the
these should have been painted.
I think painted, or maybe not have the ring around them to kind of make the symbol pop out.
Yeah.
Because when you're looking sort of at certain angles, if you're looking at it from the side, you're like, I don't know if that's me. I mean, turning it, it takes a second to turn it to the side.
True.
But at first glance, you're trying to quickly find where you are on the board. It takes a second to realize, I'm over here or I'm over there. So that's the only thing that I would maybe say about it. Is
another minor nitpick.
But again, minor because you can track it in other ways.
And not us, but a lot of board gamers, tabletoppers, they really do enjoy the painting projects.
Yeah.
So this would be a good painting project for you and your group, your family, whoever it is that paints with you. If anybody, this would be a nice little project.
It would be because again, the factions do have so many different colors. You have the Brotherhood or the white ones. The Enclave of Terror have blue. I forget the name of the faction that the Steves were playing. It's like black with a little bit of green. Yeah. So there's a lot of variety that you could throw in if you do choose to go down there.
So I can't wait for this to hit the table again.
I'm really looking forward to it.
And I'm really sorry, Alex. Alex, we're really sorry you missed this game.
He would love
the entire day. We're sitting here going, Alex would love
Alex
this.
would love this.
So we got to make sure he gets to play it.
Absolutely.
But we need a few more games. I might run a solo over the weekend, over the Thanksgiving weekend. I'm thinking I might do that. Give that a shot. Maybe film it live, direct to YouTube. What do you guys think? You guys like to see a live playthrough of this? I'd definitely do a solo playthrough. Just make a comment down below. All right, so for Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming, I'm Big Johnny G. This is our main man, Ryan. This was, is, and always shall be Fallen Land, a post-apocalyptic board game by Fallen Dominion Studios. That was 20-Sided Shots, and we